Denver International Airport is the second largest airport in the world. It's also one of the busiest, and a lot of people think it's one of the most confusing to navigate. If you've never been here or it's been a minute, the airport is in the middle of a multi-billion-dollar renovation. And there have been some pretty big changes since I made a video about the airport a few years back. This is my home airport, so I'm gonna help you get around, give you some tips for layovers and lounges so that you can make sure that you catch your flight. Whether you Uber here, get dropped off, or take a 40-minute train ride from Union Station, give yourself some lead time. This is a multi-level airport under construction with a lot of temporary, confusing signage that can turn just about anyone around, so if you get lost, it's not your fault. Check-in has moved around a few times recently, so make sure to follow any signs just in case things have shifted. Like right now, I'm on level 6 and I'm checking in for a domestic flight on United. South security is what most people know. It's this massive humanity at the bottom of the escalator. I typically check in on the west side of the airport instead. Especially if you have TSA pre-check, I found that things move pretty swiftly at west security. Even with the construction, it's way better than it was before, which was basically just that giant mass of people at south security. But if you don't have pre-check, a pro tip for the Denver airport is to use DEN Reserve. You can sign up for a time online, and it's like having a fast pass to skip the standard TSA security line. I'll add a link for DEN Reserve at the top of the screen and in the description if you want to reserve a time before you get to the airport. But in case you get to the airport and you can't find any of the stuff I just mentioned, don't panic, you're probably on the wrong level. I mentioned this in my last video, and a lot of people in the comments agreed that it's really confusing. I cannot even tell you how many times I've gone to the airport to pick up a friend and I can't find them anywhere because they're on the wrong level. So basically, there are 3 levels that you need to care about. Level 4, which is where I am right now, is where friends will pick you up from arrivals. If you head up a level to level 5, this is where baggage claim is. It's also where hotel and parking shuttles will pick you up, along with Ubers and Lyfts. A lot of people will grab their bags on this level, pick them up, and then turn around and head straight outside looking for their friends to pick them up. But this is actually the level for those Ubers and Lyfts and shuttles. And not only do you have to go to the right level, you have to go to the right island. You'll see these signs that have the names of rental car companies, and it'll say right at pickup over here if you're taking an Uber or Lyft. And those are really important things to pay attention to if you don't have a friend picking you up from the airport. And really, it can be very confusing, but you do get used to it over time. Also, shout out to Danny H2518 for this reminder, but a really easy way to immediately tell what floor you're on is to look at the numbers that are on the doors at the airport. So because this one starts with 5, we're on level 5. And now we're heading up to level 6, which is generally for departures and checking in. With all the construction going on at the airport, you might check in on level 5. And once you're on level 6, it's pretty obvious because it feels like the brightest floor in the airport. So there's a lot of natural light coming through the windows. So if you see that's a little brighter, you're probably on level 6. But worst case, if you need to, just check the door. It says 6, you're on level 6. If this video has been helpful to you so far, please give it a like to help more people find it. Also, if you're coming to Denver or you live here, feel free to subscribe to find food and fun in the city. I'm trying to hit 25,000 subscribers this year, and we're gonna cut it pretty close, and I'd love it if you were here for that journey. Now let's get back to the airport. And when I say that the airport's under crazy construction and that things keep changing, it's not uncommon to see stuff like this when you hit the airport, where a stairwell that you might have used before will be closed, and you get to see a ton of equipment and construction material everywhere. And after you make it through security, most people are going to head down to take the train to the A, B, or C concourses. There's been a lot of construction to get down to the train recently, so you really don't know what you're going to get on any given day. And because the trains are pretty much all automated, you can't just run really fast to make it to your gate to make up time. If you're taking a normal non-holiday flight, especially with the construction, I'd get to the airport around 75 minutes before your flight for a much less stressful journey. And I know that there are people out there that like to get to the airport like 2.5 hours early, even for a regular flight. You will make it, you'll be just fine. And we'll cover lounges in a second, but if you've got a long layover here, you have options that are better than you might think. So right now, this is straight off the train in Concourse A. If you go up to the mezzanine level, you'll see that there's this second floor that very few people actually go to. It's pretty quiet, out of the hustle and bustle. You can find a spot to sit down. It's a great place to spend your layover if you just need to get away from people for a while. So if you don't have lounge access, this is probably your best bet. Like, check out how quiet it is. They've got this rest and relaxation area over here. Once I get a little bit closer, you'll be able to see that there's kind of some huge chairs and some couches. So if you're here for a really long time, this is a good way to be in a quieter part of the airport. It's pretty easy to get some food, bring it up here, and create your own lounge experience with other fellow travelers who've done their research. And if you're looking for something completely different to do, there's also a golf simulator in Concourse A that you can reserve online if you want to play 18 holes before your flight. And there are usually bays available, but it's a good idea to make an online reservation just in case you know you're going to be here for a long time and you want something to do. Also, they have clubs you can borrow here, so you don't need to lug yours in the airport if you want to play. And if hunger strikes, Denver was actually recently named one of the top 10 airports for food and drink, which is a crazy thing to say considering how bad the food was at the airport just a few years ago. Many popular local Denver restaurants have recently opened at the airport, so it's surprisingly easy to have a better than you'd expect meal at the airport. And we've still got Panda Express and McDonald's, and they're still super popular if you want to stick with the classics. Denver locals will recognize places like the Bagel Deli and Tokabe here in Concourse A, right next to Gate 37. If you want to grab a drink, there's an airport speakeasy, and there's just so much construction. It's not just in that terminal area. You'll see these walls are up. A lot of times it's because they're revamping a section, but the parts that they have redone at the airport are really nice. Also in Concourse A, this is the Capital One Lounge. Highly recommend making a reservation or putting yourself on the wait list with the app before you get here. And this is one of the newer parts of the airport. It's much brighter. There are a lot of places to sit. Everything's a little upgraded over here, but I take a lot of flights out of this area of the airport. This is also where you'll find some of the newest dining additions to the airport, including Maria Empanada and the Bindery. Right next to those, you'll find super popular ramen spot Uncle. It is crazy to see that they have an airport location. So the food options on this side are better, but it's a pretty long trek back to the train. And if you want to head over to Concourse B, there's a Mizu Sushi Izakaya, a Voodoo Donuts, and also a new Belgian brewery. If you head over to Concourse C, there's a Cholan with those French onion soup dumplings, solid Italian food at Bardo, plus taco spot Mr. Oso, and the always popular Root Down. If you've got a really long layover, feel free to do some exploring. Just remember, if you hit the terminal, you're going to have to check in through TSA again. In case you're doing some exploring at the airport and you're getting back on the train, these are the signs you want to pay attention to. Just make sure you know what direction you're going on the train. And one good part is that these signs tell you exactly when the trains are going to be departing. So you don't need to run if you see that the train is leaving in a couple minutes. Now I'm just outside the United Club, so let's talk lounges, which you'll generally find on the mezzanine level above the main walkway of the concourse. Denver is actually home to the largest United Club in the world. It's 35,000 square feet in Concourse B. It seats around 600 people. Right now I'm in the smaller one, which is in Concourse A. I think it's 24,000 square feet and seats 400 people. Like a lot of airports in the US, Priority Pass doesn't really do a lot at this airport. Personally, I have lounge access to the United Clubs in Concourse A and B and the Capital One Lounge in Concourse A. We're actually going to drop the Venture X next year, but I will keep my United Club card from Chase just because this lounge is really nice and there's generally a lot of space because it's that big. If you've been considering getting that card, I'll drop my referral link at the top of the screen and in the description so you can check the latest sign-up bonuses. We've also got a Delta Sky Club in Concourse A, so a lot of the lounges are in Concourse A. We also have the second largest Amex Centurion Lounge in Concourse C, but I've heard it gets really, really busy. If you have the ability to add yourself to the wait list before you get to the lounge, I would do that. I generally do it before I hit TSA. If you want an inside look at the Capital One Lounge and the United Club, here are 2 videos that I made that'll help. And if you're looking for food and fun in Denver, these videos will help. I hope this video showed you what to expect at Denver International Airport, and I'll catch you on another video.